Gertrude, the baloney-loving goat. Once upon a time, in a sunny meadow surrounded by rolling hills, lived the silliest, chubbiest, most wonderful goat you could ever imagine. Her name was Gertrude, and she had the most peculiar taste in food. While all the other goats were perfectly happy munching on grass, dandelions, and the occasional tin can, Gertrude had discovered something far more delicious. Bologna, those round pink slices of deli meat, made her little goat heart sing with joy. Gertrude was so round and plump from all her bologna eating that when she walked, she wobbled like a furry bowling ball. Her belly was so big that sometimes she couldn't see her own hooves. She had fluffy white fur with brown patches that looked like someone had splashed chocolate milk on her, and her horns were decorated with colorful ribbons that the farmer's daughter had tied there. Every morning Gertrude would wake up and immediately start thinking about bologna. She would roll out of her cozy barn stall, literally roll because she was too chubby to stand up gracefully, and waddle over to the farmhouse with the biggest, silliest grin on her goat face. "Baloney! Baloney!" She would bleat at the top of her lungs, which was her way of saying, "Good morning. May I please have some bologna?" Mrs. Henderson, the kind farmer's wife, would laugh every single time. "Oh, Gertrude, you're the only goat I know who turns her nose up at perfectly good grass for lunch meat." But Mrs. Henderson had a soft spot for the chubby goat, so she would always save the ends of the bologna loaf just for Gertrude. She'd toss the slices into the air, and Gertrude would try to catch them in her mouth. The silly goat would leap and bound, well, more like bounce and tumble, trying to catch each piece. Sometimes Gertrude would get so excited that she'd spin in circles, her ribbons flying, her belly jiggling, and her hooves getting all tangled up. She'd end up rolling down the hill like a big fluffy ball, bleating happily all the way down. One day, the county fair announced a contest, the most talented farm animal competition. All the animals were practicing their special tricks. The pigs were learning to paint, the chickens were practicing their egg-laying speed, and the cows were working on their synchronized mooing. Gertrude wanted to enter too, but what was her talent? She thought and thought, which was hard work, and made her hungry for bologna. Then she had the most wonderful idea. On the day of the contest, Gertrude waddled up to the stage. The crowd giggled when they saw her round belly and her confident waddle. Mrs. Henderson stood nearby with a whole package of bologna slices. "Ladies and gentlemen," announced Gertrude in her loudest bleat, "I present to you the amazing baloney-catching spectacular." Mrs. Henderson began tossing bologna slices high into the air. Gertrude danced, spun, leaped, and bounced, catching every single piece in her mouth. She did somersaults, which looked more like rolling around. She did the splits, which was really just her legs giving out from all the bouncing. And for her grand finale, she caught 3 pieces of bologna at once while doing a spinning jump. The crowd went wild. They had never seen anything so silly and wonderful. Gertrude won first place and a big blue ribbon, which she immediately tried to eat, because she thought it might taste like bologna. From that day on, Gertrude became famous throughout the county as the baloney-catching goat. Children would come from miles around just to watch her perform and to giggle at her silly antics. And Gertrude, she was the happiest, chubbiest, most satisfied goat in the whole wide world. She had found her calling, she had all the baloney she could want, and she had made everyone laugh. Every night she would settle into her cozy stall, her belly full of baloney, her ribbon slightly askew, and her blue ribbon hanging proudly on the wall. She would dream of flying baloney slices and cheering crowds, and in her dreams she was still the silliest, most wonderful goat anyone had ever seen. And if you ever visit that sunny meadow, you might just hear a happy baloney echoing across the hills, because Gertrude is still there, still catching baloney, and still making everyone smile with her wonderfully silly ways. The end.